Hello, everyone, and welcome to the European Overwatch PIT Championship for Group B. Excuse me, guys, a little sick here. I am Storm, and joining me is Hurix. How are you doing today, man?
Good as always, man. Good as always. Really excited for the first match in particular, as probably the two top teams I would say in this group are going to be contending in our first match. But got some great games throughout that I'm really excited for, and casted with my boy Storm here, so really excited, man.
Yeah, we've got Dignitas up against Misfits for our first game, and then, of course, our second one will be Singularity Ninjas and X Alternate Attacks, and then we'll round out today with Hammers Esports up against Movistar Riders. Hurix, what are your thoughts on yesterday's games? I mean, we had some pretty solid ones, a little bit of a kind of some upsets here in the standings, I guess you could say. We've got four teams sitting at 1-1. Misfits atop everything at 2-0, and then of course X Alternate Attack sitting at 0-2 today. But honestly, all these teams are like really close in terms of what we're seeing skill wise throughout these past couple of days. So moving into today, what are you expecting for these matchups?
Well, I think a big standout for us, at least in particular with what's going to go on today here, is that Dignitas doesn't look as strong as I think a lot of people anticipated, certainly myself being one of those people, given the fact that they only beat out ATAX 2-1. And of course, ATAX is certainly a lot closer to the pack than I would have anticipated, but still barely beating them out. And then the Nepal map that they actually won was still incredibly close. I mean, we're talking about score lines of 199, 191, 199 again for those three maps. So even though they won that map out 3-0, I mean, they had to battle back into that one. I mean, on the first map alone, they were down 99-0, and then they had to battle back for that complete run back of 100 straight points to be able to get that point. And then, of course, losing to Movistar. Certainly, Dignitas doesn't look like they're in shape at the moment to be able to take down a team like Dignitas. Of course, in Group A, we did see Ninjas in Pajamas falling short a little bit on Laser Kittens, a team that kind of barely slid in off of that particular win into the playoffs. But then still were able to battle out United. So, I mean, maybe Dignitas is going to be able to come through with something against Misfits to really kind of set them off their game a little bit. But Misfits just looks so incredibly strong right now. We've seen them go into Game 5 and a Game 4 on Nepal as well, which is going to be our first map. But they're still 2-0 on this particular map. I mean, they're still looking pretty strong. And against a team like Singularity, I mean, the only struggles they really had was on Sanctum. So I'm not sure if really this is going to be too difficult for Misfits in this first game, but nonetheless, moving on down the line, Singularity looking really strong yesterday. Certainly, I think they're a favorite in their matchup for our second game, and Movistar Riders has just been a standout throughout this tournament, I would say, only losing now to Misfits. And if we look at the standings really quick, we can see Movistar Riders just kind of up there as well with some of these other teams here, Singularity, Dignitas, and Hammers Esports. I mean, certainly Movistar, I think, would be the favorite going into that one as well, given what we saw yesterday with Hammers Esports and a couple of, I'm not really sure what to call it. I mean, they just didn't look as good as what we expected, I think, given the fact that we haven't really seen them since their signing.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a scare, I think, for some parts of Misfits yesterday on Nepal, especially as Numbani, if I'm not mistaken, were on the defensive end. They were a little questionable, but they were able to clean up their act, make the hold before the third checkpoint, and then make an even quicker push than what we saw from their opponents. So they found a 2-0. Dignitas dropping their match yesterday. Heading into this one up against Misfits, you mentioned that you think Dignitas is probably, up there with Misfits in this group, which I can agree with, but a little questionable in terms of performance yesterday. And if they are to lose today, dropping to 1-2 in the standings is not going to be a good start for Dignitas, and they will have to really battle their way back into this group over the next few days should this be a loss today. So heading to Nepal for the first map, like you had mentioned, what do you think their chances are, I guess you could say, going up against Misfits and trying to take them down here?
Well, I don't think their chances are that good at the moment. I mean, we've already seen a familiar opponent between both teams where they both took on Movistar. Dignitas lost to Movistar on Nepal. However, Misfits was able to win that one out. Granted, both of those series went to Game 5, so they were incredibly close matches, but given what we've seen in terms of performance levels from Misfits and what we've seen from Dignitas, I think it's pretty safe to assume that Misfits is going to be able to take this first particular map, and then we'll more than likely see Dignitas take it. Probably going to stay away from Volskaya. I'm not sure how they feel about Hollywood, especially against a team like Misfits, but I'm not sure what they're going to want to bring out next. I mean, there's really no map in the pool that I think Dignitas has a clear advantage over Misfits. So I think they'll just go to whatever they feel just the most comfortable on. It might be Hollywood, it might be something like Hanamura instead, because certainly they didn't look that great on Volskaya, but we'll have to see what actually winds up coming out, maybe a Numbani. But nonetheless, it looks like we are all ready to go into the game here on Nepal. We'll jump right in here. And again, this is Dignitas versus Misfits for the first series here.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what Dignitas is able to do against Misfits here, especially since, like you had mentioned, Misfits has been so dominant on Nepal throughout the group stage so far, 2-0 on it thus far. A little bit of a scare, like you had mentioned yesterday, going down 99-0 on the first point, battling their way back into it. They did eventually lose a round, but they were able to find that one 3-1, if I'm not mistaken. And now up against a well-practiced Dignitas squad who has been, looking, back kind of okay sometimes and, pretty solid at other times. But we'll see what's going to happen here on Nepal between these two squads, as Dignitas will be on the blue side. It will be Misfits over on the red. And let's see what we're going to have composition-wise as we get things started here.
Looks like both sides going for a dive-style composition, and we do see a traditional set from Misfits here as opposed to the 2-2-2 we see coming out from Dignitas, with Toxican actually going over to the Diva. And we've seen him flexing a lot lately. He's been known to go for things like Soldier, Diva, Zarya. I mean, a lot of different options that this team has brought together, but certainly you're looking for a little bit more consistency, I think, in terms of results. So we'll have to see if this is going to provide them with that.
Already watch 7 in the back line looking for the kill onto Zebasai. He's going to be the first to go down here, and right away here it's all Dignitas able to get very aggressive thanks to the Winston just jumping way into the back line and really not being dealt with. And just like that, Dignitas going to be able to come up with the first points here in round number 1.
Definitely looking like a good start here for Dignitas, and certainly getting control of that first point, winning out that first fight, is definitely going to put them in a great position to really kind of hold this one out and make a good play for that win. But nonetheless, look at what 7 again. I mean, completely uncontested towards Zebasai here, who's trying to take a little bit of a duel, but Lynx are already taken out here by Reinforces. They got aggressive as well, and it does seem that we're going to be seeing this going back and forth now. Bromus in a little bit of a 1v1 here with Tavik as well.
It was good pressure coming out there from Watt 7, but unfortunately, like you had mentioned, on the other end of things, it was Reinforced coming through with a couple of big pickups. And just like that, Misfits are going to be able to turn this one back around, get a little bit of a late kill there onto Evoke, and get this flip at about 30%. Still, ultimates are relatively similar, given both teams have actually come up with a one-team fight.
That quick flip, though, means a lot for Misfits, who are, I mean, able to now get rid of that advantage that you would typically see the team that won the first fight with in a King of the Hill style map. And now they're going to be in a great position to try to win the bloodbath of this third fight, where both teams are more than likely to bring out some ultimates here and really try to take an advantage. We do see the Dragon Blade already coming out from Lynxer. Tavik already took out 2 with the Pulse Bomb, though.
That was the big start coming out there on the side of Misfits. Despite that Dragon Blade from Lynxer, it was all about Tavik opening up that fight with the Pulse Bomb and finding 2 crucial kills to give them the numbers advantage around the map here. And the fact that they were able to bait out that Dragon Blade and only give up a Pulse Bomb in return is huge, because that Pulse Bomb is going to charge up so much quicker, and they were able to hold on to the Nano Blade that they're going to need for this next engagement. I'm looking for Nevix to come up big in this next fight.
Oh, we do see the Nano Boost coming out, as well as the Dragon Blade, and that's looking for kills here, as we do see Nevix just going in for some. Only finds 1, and that's onto Vainless in the back here, as Nevix is just continuing to just go ahead with these little one-on-one situations. Toxican going to be able to assist that fight, though, and the Soundbeer coming out here for Dignitas. They're looking to win this one.
They are. They did manage to actually flip the point mid-fight here. Reinforced pops the Primal Rage as well. On the other side, What 7 did pop it and get a kill for himself. It's pretty back and forth for the most part. No clear victor just yet in this engagement, but Misfits looking to hold on here. Just need to take care of that Tracer and Lucio, as it looks like Reinforced actually hit there by a Bio Grenade from Vainless. He's going to be forced to back off of this one, and still Dignitas maintaining control. They managed to back Misfits out of this one.
Great composure coming out from Bromus to be able to just stay on that point, help his teammate out, just dealing with Reinforced Tavik and Nevix there on the point to be able to win that one out and flip this back in their favor. And now they do have a little bit of a lead here, but they're going to have to do a lot to hold on to it.
Looking for a Graviton Surge combo from Maniten here. He's going to go ahead and drop it out here. Pulse Bomb is out, but Tavik doesn't even need to use it, because that Graviton Surge actually only hit 1 person. Toxican as well with the Tactical Visor picks up 3 kills with the Purix, and Dignitas maintaining it They've got 90% now. 10 seconds left for Misfits to actually get back to this point, and I don't think they're going to be able to get a full regroup for that.
And it's basically up to Bromus and Linkser here to definitely come up with some big picks to be able to just give themselves the advantage going into this fight, as we do see the sound barrier coming out here on the side of Misfits. Nevix looking to go with his Dragon Blade. He pulls it right out, finds a kill initially. That's actually Linkser on the other side of things as Nevix returns fire with 3 of his own.
That was a big pickup for Nevix, despite Linkser having a great start there. It was all about Nevix picking up those 3 or 4 Dragon Blade kills and getting control once again. Still, they're down about 40% here, X. We're going to have to see something come out big time from Dignitas because they don't have anything to work with. The closest thing they have is a Primal Rage and a Sound Barrier. But on the other end of things, Misfits is pretty close with that. So this will come down to potentially one final fight here.
And Nevix landing a lot of initial damage here right onto what 7. That's going to put him pretty low and in a dangerous position. They might lose their tank early on, and they do indeed. 2 down, 3 down now for Dignitas, and they're backed up here, 85%, 86%. They don't have too much time here. They're going to have to go into a pretty staggered push, and especially if we see some picks coming out from Misfits, like the one they just got onto Toxican, then they're going to be in a great position to take this one.
I don't think there's they're actually able to get back to the point thanks to What7 coming through with the Primal Rage. He is going to get the Sound Barrier as well to help him out from Evoke. Actually only hit him and Bromus, unfortunately, here, but it's actually Zebosai taking down Nevix in return fire. He has another Dragon Blade ready to go here, Urix. He's going to go ahead and pop this one out into the... Oh my goodness, it's Toxican getting the Nano Boost, pops the Attack Visor. He's looking to clean this one up into the Sound Barrier. It's just him and Baneless remaining here. He's got 3 people to deal with against just 2 of them. He's going to be taken down. Baneless in a rough spot as well. He's going to be dropped here. There's a Graviton Surge coming out from Manitin and Misfits sealing round number 1.
Still, I mean, incredibly close there, and we almost saw Toxican coming out with yet another incredibly valuable tactical visor to be able to potentially secure that, but, you know, they were able to use the Sound Barrier to hold on there, and, man, did they ever. Definitely incredibly close, though. Certainly closer than I think Misfits would like at the moment, but there's a couple of teams still, I mean, in this group that are certainly within the realm of contention, I would say, for Misfits. They still have to worry about, I mean, obviously Movistar was one of them. I would say Dignitas is another, but, you know, if Misfits can come away with this one as well, then they're in a great position to just win out the rest of the group here. So certainly Misfits right now looking to try to really kind of make a point, and definitely that is going to be that they're the strongest team in EU, and a win over Dignitas here would definitely set a precedent for that.
Well, Hurix, it was a bit of a back and forth one there. I mean, 100-99, that very well could have been Dignitas' ground. So we'll see if that's going to hold true here as I'm looking for the Reinhardts to charge in. There's the first charge, but the hook onto coming out there from Manitin picks up the first kill. Links are going to be taken down. Of course, he made that change over to the Roadhog here for this round. A bit of a swap coming out from both sides here, and Misfits are getting off on the right foot here in round number 2.
See them backing these guys off, all ready to spawn, and early control going in Misfits' favor. Certainly, I mean, we talked about how, you know, how much it means to get that control of the point first, and with Misfits able to take it this time, definitely looking good for them. Of course, as I mean, they've been known to be able to battle back after losing a lot of points early on, and now we do see Zebasai.
I was going to say, Manitin actually got hooked out way downtown. Look at the bad position he's in right now. No, they actually do follow up onto him, but unfortunately they lost Zebasai as well. So Dignitas have the 5-on-4 advantage right now. There's a Nano Boost coming out onto, I believe it was Nevix who actually that was the Nano Boost that came out on the other side onto Toxican, but he was taken out there. Nevix popped the Graviton Surge, and that is despite that a flip coming through there for Dignitas, who are going to be able to get some points on the board here in round number 2.
They do have Transcendence available here to just jump on the point if they desire that to be the play. I mean, they got these guys low. I mean, all the tanks are down low. Zebasai actually with a frag there onto what 7, and he finds that kill, and they're going to just jump straight at this Roadhog, already finding 2 important picks on these tanks here. Misfits certainly going to be able to flip this one in their favor and hold on to every single one of the ults that they had. And of course, one of those really pivotal ones, again, is going to be Transcendence.
Very important that Dignitas didn't actually expend anything in that kind of brawl, I guess you could say, because Savoke was taken down so late, there was no real reason for them to continue to funnel into that one. We're going to see them make a pick, though, onto Manitin. That's the first one. Earthshatter used as well. He's going to follow up with the charge. Hits Linkster. We do see the Transcendence come through here from Zebasai. Earthshatter comes out there from 1-7. He doesn't hit anything. Straight into the shield, unfortunately. Sound Barrier as well coming out on the side of Dignitas. Reinforces charged into. He's taken down, and despite the Transcendence from Zebasai, Bromas pop into Tactical Visor here, trying to seal this fight up. Picks up one onto Zabe, looking for Zebasai. Going to be able to find that. Gets a third pick onto Tavik before actually being dropped there. And Dignitas going to be able to put this one back in their favor.
Still, Misfits with a clear lead here. I mean, we're talking 40 points or at the 40% right now. But we do see Toxican charged up with that Graviton Surge, so perhaps they're going to be able to just throw Linkster's whole hog right into that and take these guys out and make a little bit of a catch up here. Nonetheless, I mean, they're going to have to find some real value in this for sure. Toxican already getting charged out, actually.
That's a big pick to actually... Oh, man, there's a Graviton Surge into the Sound Barrier. They don't have any follow-up, though, here. That Nano Boost is onto Toxican a little late, unfortunately. He's going to try to melt them down. Manitin's under a bit of heat. He takes a breather, though. No kills in the meantime. 1-7 come in with a big Earthshatter, picks up a couple off of it. The follow-up is there from Toxican as well, and Dignitas might be able to hold on to this one and take the lead.
Tavik definitely looking to go ahead and help his teammates flip this, and they do flip this despite the fact that Evoke is actually on the point and he gets taken out. Zebasai able to help Tavik with the damage there, and we see them flipping it and actually regaining control despite the fact that Dignitas never even left the point. I mean, they were there and they gave up that control. Huge mistake, I think, on Dignitas's part.
They were kind of all over the place. There were a couple of them on the point, a couple of them on the right side there, and weren't really able to find a whole lot of picks, unfortunately, off of it. Graviton Surge coming through there from Nevix. The follow-up, there's an Earthshatter, big Earthshatter actually from Reinforce before he's taken down. Tavik as well with a double kill, picking up 3 kills with the Tactical Visor, and Misfits are going to be able to seal this round. I think Bromas pops his own Tac Visor, doesn't get to the point in time. 2-0 lead here on the Paul for Misfits.
I really like Zebasai actually on this Zenyatta. He's performing quite well with it, able to get out a lot of damage, and a lot of times what you'll see with the Zenyatta is that their aura performance is definitely there. They're able to position well and everything like that, but the thing about Zebasai is that he's consistently landing those orbs onto people. I mean, he's consistently landing his damage. So, I mean, that's definitely helping these guys out a lot. We see him a lot of the times on the kill feed, and on top of that, I mean, of course, that Discord orb can't be... Can't go unnoticed at all, as that extra damage certainly helped a lot in terms of dealing with Bromas there. Really kind of cutting down the Roadhog a lot, but nonetheless, we're going to be seeing this as basically map point here. It's 2-0 already in favor of Misfits here over Dignitas in our first map of the series, first series of the day as well.
Gotta wonder with how close that first round was. The second round a little decently close, but just that was clearly in favor of Misfits here. We're gonna see Reinforce get dove upon here. He's gonna go straight for Linkster here. Linkster the first to drop at the hands of the Winston, and that's gonna force back Watch 7. He's gonna be dropped there. They do return with one of their own onto Zebasai here, but in the end, Misfits, they've got the numbers advantage. They find a kill on Devaneless, and they are gonna be able to come up with their first points here in round number 3.
Bromas, the Lone Ranger here trying to survive, is going to get taken out there finally and have to go back on respawn. And we will see Nevix actually just not really too far away from Linkster there. I mean, for the most part, I mean, it was kind of Tavik doing a lot of the work, I would say, getting a lot of that damage there. Both Tracers really kind of finding some value in that last little brawl. But nonetheless, we will see Dignitas looking to re-engage here on the point.
Reinforce is actually down below. Linkster didn't see him. He got caught out here. Does he get taken down? No. Not going to be taken down. Pulse Bomb comes through there. Doesn't find anything, unfortunately, from Tavik. Nevix is actually the first to go down. I'm looking for Bromas now with his own Pulse Bomb. He's going to look to potentially stick it there, but I don't even know if they need it here. They've got themselves 3 kills on the board to nothing here. It's a 6-on-3. Reinforce pops the Primal Rage, though, maybe to try to last this one out as long as he can on the point. He's definitely going to be taken down in a matter of moments, though. There, he's finally going to be dropped, as Dignitas will get the flip.
And after that kill on Nevix, that will secure it. Zebasai just got murdered there by Toxican as well as Vainless, and I think actually Bromas getting involved as well. I mean, he just completely melted there. Nonetheless, we're seeing both sides getting charged up here across the board, but look at the side of Dignitas here. Every single option is available for them should they want to use it, but obviously the thing here is that you don't want to use everything. And if Misfits can pull, I mean, 4 or 5 ults out in this next fight, then they're going to be looking good for the next.
Nano Visor's out from Toxic, immediately picks up the kill onto Tvik. There's a second kill onto Zebosai here. Linkser with another of his own. They went ahead and used the Nano Blade from Nevix, but unfortunately he did not find anything. So 3 ultimates, actually 4 coming out there from Dignitas, but it secures the fight, Purix. They still hold on to Primal Rage and the Dragon Blade. Only a Graviton Surge remaining on the side of Misfits, who are going to end up losing the lead from those 2 last team fights.
But pretty soon here, Zav is going to be able to go ahead with that Sound Barrier, and they do have that combo now of Manatin and Tvik that they're going to be able to use on the point. I imagine they're going to try to get very aggressive here. Manatin definitely going to be looking for that Graviton. As soon as every one of these guys groups up, we do see the Dragon Blade coming out, Graviton as well, and he gets really not much out of it at all.
Ooh, that's unfortunate. Linkser with a big double kill coming through there with the Dragon Blade. They didn't even get to use the Pulse Bomb into the Graviton Surge because, like you said, there just wasn't a whole lot of opportunity for that there. And now they're sitting at 75% here for Dignitas, on the verge of taking round number 3 with another 1 team fight. That should seal it. They do have 2 ultimates to work with. Let's see what the Winston and Bromas on the Tracer can get done with it.
They're looking to engage now. Zavi with the Sound Barrier coming up pretty soon. Bromas already finding a pick onto Nevix. Sound Barrier comes out, but they are already down. It's the 5-5 on the point. What's up? Already gonna kill off Zebosai as well. So the main healer now already out for Misfits.
Tvik actually returned fire, got one onto Toxikin. Toxikin has been such a nuisance on the 76 here. We're in overtime, so this is Misfits' final opportunity to try to get something. Zave going to be taken down as well at the hands of the Winston. Just a few of them remaining. There's Manatin. He's going to be taken down, and I feel like we're going to be seeing this go to a round number 4, especially since the Sound Barrier comes through from Evoke. Tvik, he's going to be taken down here. They still have Reinforce on the point here. He's dangerously low. Zebosai going to be taken down, and Misfits going to be dropping round number 3. We are going to head to at least a round number 4 here.
Dignitas battling back now, and now we're going to be going into, like you said, that map 4, and the question becomes which map is it going to be. Certainly, Misfits looked incredibly strong on Sanctum, and that is going to be the map that we actually see. I mean, just an inability to deal with Zebosai, and I would say Tvik as well. And we do see them switching back over to that composition that worked out so well for them. Triple tank with Zebosai on that Zenyatta, as opposed to the Ana that you would typically see with this particular composition, given the fact that, I mean, obviously Ana does a lot more healing to these big tank characters with those big health pools as well. But nonetheless, I mean, that extra damage has helped Tvik really kind of find a lot of kills, as well as help Nevix actually get his Graviton Surge up pretty quickly as well when he does barrel into guys like Linkser there on the Roadhog.
This was the round number 2, and this was the most convincing round for Misfits, actually. So we'll see if this is going to go their way again, because like you said, they brought out the Zenyatta last time and it worked pretty well. There's the first pick though on the What 7. 2 return fire though on the other end as Dignitas come up with a couple of crucial kills onto both tanks here. They don't have much of a front line, which is going to force Misfits back and give Dignitas the first points to get things started here in round number 4.
Last time we saw Misfits get control of the point first, and that certainly set them up with a huge advantage going into the rest of the match, but now losing it out, it's not going to look the same as what we saw the last time, and maybe Bromas can definitely step up here and make a play to try to shut down the tank line here from Misfits. If he can do that, then they're going to be in a great position to hold out on this second fight.
Nice charge to get things started though from Reinforce. He picks up a second kill onto Linkser there. There's a nano boost onto Toxic. I think it's a little too late. He is fully charged though. He is just going to get melted down. A wasted ultimate from Baneless. Unfortunately, Evoke finds a boop onto Reinforce, knocks him off the map, but it's not really going to matter in the grand scheme of things here, as it will be Misfits getting themselves a lead in a matter of moments in this next engagement.
Just wanted to check on Reinforce there for a second, but nonetheless, we are going to be seeing Tvik back in his former spot here, back at the back end of the point towards his spawn, just laying into the shield here. And we do see them pressing, and we already see the Graviton Surge coming out from Nevix and damage coming out from the mid side of Misfits. They're going to find 4 kills inside of it, and that last kill on Linkser, I mean, Misfits now have taken the lead here, and definitely looking good with Nevix finding a lot of those kills himself.
And a lot of, I mean, even Reinforce is actually put to sleep there. He didn't even get to swing his hammer into the Graviton Surge. That's how much work Nevix and the rest of the company were able to actually put into that last engagement here. Thankfully, Reinforced didn't actually have an opportunity to drop his Earth Shatter, because now they have it for this next engagement here. They've got 5 ultimates to work with compared to 4 on the other side. There's the Earth Shatter coming out from both sides. It's going to be Reinforced with hitting quite a few of them. We're also seeing a Transcendence from Zeba's side. Tvik is going to be the first to drop along with Manitin here, despite the Transcendence coming through. Do they battle back? No. Dignitas get the flip here about halfway.
That's twice now on Sanctum where we've seen Zebasai pull out the Transcendence, and I would say, like, as soon as he did pull it out, I was convinced that it was a decent time to be able to pull it out. I mean, maybe we should have seen some aggression come from the team as he pulls it out earlier, perhaps, before we did see that Earth Shatter, but nonetheless, that wasn't going to be the case, and we do see the Graviton Surge coming out already. Tvik looking for an opportunity to go with the tactical visor, as his team did survive mostly through that Graviton Surge there, and Bromas just taking guys out in the back here. That's going to be Manitin and Zave, as it looks like Dignitas is actually going to be able to clean things up.
Oh, there's a couple of kills onto Bromas and Toxikin. Reinforced was taken down. Tvik still has his tactical visor if he needs it. Has a couple of people here to help him, but he's in basically a 1-on-3 on the point. He's actually going to be forced to back off of this. Veinless getting a few hits from afar. They're 70% now for Dignitas, and this is looking like, honestly, Hjorks, they might be able to push this to a round number 5 if they play this perfectly.
They'll have to play it actually perfectly, though, as the Graviton's getting pretty close to being ready. Reinforced pretty close to that next ult as well. Graviton's coming out, and that's onto Bromas, who did get the nano boost on his tactical visor. He's going to be able to stay healthy because he does have that healing from the grenade as well as his own biotic field, but Reinforced and Manson on the point already found 2. Bromas trying to battle back. Sound Barrier coming out there from Evoke, and Tvik looking to close this one out and help his team flip it, and it looks like that's going to be the case. Misfits holding on, and now at 60%, battle back onto the point.
That was a close call for Misfits. Tvik really was struggling to be able to find an opportunity to punch out his damage because, like you said, it was Bromas who got the tactical visor and the nano boost to help him out. So Tvik was kind of forced back, had to hide around the corner. No opportunity to really do a whole lot. Now they don't have much to work with now. Manitin as a whole hog, if he can find a pick, this is going to be big. But Linkster and Watt7 both ready to go here with their own. There's the Earth Shatter, interrupts the whole hog from Manitin. A big bio grenade connects as well from Veinless. It's going to help them kill out Manitin. It's a 3-for-1 though. Reinforced comes through with the kill onto the other Reinhardt. They're at 93% and counting. I'm afraid to say it, Hjorks. Misfits are going to be able to take this map. They take the 3-1 and go up 1-0 in this series.
Really, really good performance from Zebasai in the end there. I mean, that time he got it off in the Earth Shatter, kept them all alive, and even Reinforce, who actually did get that biotic grenade there from Veinless, was able to, be maintained as well. But nonetheless, I think the bigger play there was with Zebasai actually having the Transcendence, jumped in front of the charge there and ate it up to be able to save Reinforce in that last play and keep him alive, and they just had so much control. Great stuff from from Zebasai there to be able to close that one out. And Misfits now up 1-0 in the set.
It's just like yesterday, Hjorks. They won their Nepal game 3-1. It was a little questionable at times, but clearly showing that they were the better team in that map. And now with a 1-0 lead, we'll see what Dignitas want to pick for the second map and where they actually want to go. What are you expecting from this second map pick?
Well, like I said before, this is a matchup where, I actually don't know, because something that we've seen in the past from Dignitas is, I think they favor a little bit of maps like Hollywood. But aside from Hollywood in this pool, the only map that they have a decent record on is Hanamura because of their win yesterday over ATAX, ex-ATAX. And it is going to be Hollywood that they actually do pull out, and it is going to be on the defense as well. So that we are going to be going into the map that I probably assumed. But again, there isn't that many options for them. There really isn't any option for them, in my opinion. I think on Hollywood, Misfits should be able to take this one as well. But we haven't seen Misfits yet on Hollywood in this particular group setting. But nonetheless, going into this particular match, again, on this map in particular, I think that still Misfits should be able to walk away with their third 2-0 here.
Yeah, it was a little, like I mentioned before this series actually began, was, my questioning of their Numbani defense. Of course, completely different map, but even so, it was like, there was little to no defense whatsoever between checkpoint, the start of the game up to the second checkpoint, and then we saw them hold off for, 5 minutes and 30 seconds and not allow their opponents to finish out the map. So it's a little worrying for me for Misfits here on Hollywood, but if they are able to come out and make sure that they get that first defensive hold I think that's the most important one for Misfits right now. Making sure that it's not going to be Dignitas steamrolling them from the start on this point A. If we see that happen from Dignitas, they're going to be setting themselves up for success big time, and I feel like Misfits are going to have a very difficult time stopping them here. So that's what I'm on the lookout here from Misfits, and we'll see what we're going to have from the side of Dignitas on the defensive side. It looks like they want to go with a at least double tank setup. Let's see what Toxicin wants to be breaking out here. He's kind of halfway to the point. Let's see if D.Va is something he wants to stick with.
I wouldn't be surprised if he went for D.Va, but I mean, Zarya is also an option for them. Definitely could be the case, but I think it is going to be a 3-tank strat nonetheless. I mean, it just depends on which one of those two he wants to go with, and it does look like that is going to be the case with him actually just going back up to that second level of Cafe. He is definitely going to be locking that one in with that movement there. 9 seconds left. On the attacking side, though, Tavik going over to the Pharah, Zebasai going back onto the Zenyatta, actually, which I definitely like because of his performance in that last set there on Nepal. But nonetheless, this is again Tavik without a mercy there on the skies on that Pharah.
Let's see what he can get done with it and how well Vainless and Bromus are able to deal with the Pharah pickup. Of course, they're going to be able to spot that one right away. He does see the threats in the back line here. He's going to dive straight for it. He also has Reinforced way in the back. There's the first pick. It's going to be Vainless and Nevix coming up with a couple of kills here to get things started on the offensive side. The Lynxer returns with a couple of his own, and it looks like Dignitas have this one potentially back in their favor. A very back-and-forth fight. Tavik with 25 HP. He needs some heals from the rest of the squad. They might be able to go back in this and have a numbers advantage here.
Nevix holding on for dear life at the moment, though, needs some heals, does finally get it from Zebasai there, and he's going to be able to re-engage pretty soon with the rest of Misfits, who are now coming back in. Reinforce already jumping in, but we already saw picks coming out from Toxicin and Bromus onto Tavik, as well as Manatan, and it looks as though Dignitas once again going to be able to hold on, despite the fact that Toxicin actually lost his mech.
Ooh, that was rough. Reinforce was way in the back because he was actually forced to jump back there because what 7 had came through with the charge, but he missed the jump over the gate and was kind of just done. And we saw Lynxer just kind of harass him and just be like, all right, I'm just going to let you walk away. Get a pretty late kill on him. A good start for the defensive end of Dignitas, but Bromus is going to be taken down from afar there by Tavik and Zebasai. Pulse Bomb out as well. Manatan finding that pick onto Evoke. They've got a huge numbers advantage now, thanks to Nevix as well with the Dragon Blade. He picks up the kill on the Lynxer, and Misfits should be able to come through with this first checkpoint in about 2 minutes time.
That was almost incredibly fortunate from Nevix. He almost pulled out Lynxer's whole hog there right before the kill, but Lynxer still has the credit for it. Didn't come out enough to be able to steal away that charge. But still, I mean, almost pulled it out. Nonetheless, Misfits now moving on to the second stage of this map here, and we already seeing Nevix jumping forward to try to pressure out some of these tanks. And then, oh, what a nice hook there from Lynxer, getting revenge now from earlier there in that medpack room in back alley, and now they are going to be able to get aggressive here, move forward, and try to take some kills next to the spawn.
Misfits just a little too over-aggressive here, which is a little unfortunate because they need every second they can get. Still 4 minutes on the clock, so plenty of time. Pulse Bomb's out there. Oh my goodness, he runs into Evoke. Bromus didn't think it stuck him, but it did. A double kill coming through. The big barrage from up top as well. Tavik finding a double kill for himself, and just like that, Misfits turn it around. They get a team wipe at that point. That's really surprising to say the least, but that payload will start to move forward.
That was one of the most valuable pulse bombs we've seen so far in Group B, I would say. I mean, we have seen some good ones, but that one was certainly very nice, being able to find a double kill and also take Toxicin out of his mech. That's huge. Now we see the sound barrier coming out here from Dignitas as they're looking to hold on here.
They actually popped the Transcendence here. There's Attack Visor coming out from Bromus. He gets a Nano Boost as well, looking for something. Picks up 1 kill into now. It's going to be a Primal Raged Winston. Bromus is under a lot of pressure. He's going to be taken down by Tavik, who made that change over to the 76 now. Has to deal with Toxicin on the D.Va, but he should be able to be taken out of the mech. There's Nevix with the Dragon Blade. Picks up 1 kill, picks up 2. Self-destruct is out here. Doesn't find anything, Hurix. And Misfits, despite a rough start, just started to pretty much, they just they flipped the switch on here. That's pretty much what they did. Now they are steamrolling through Dignitas' defense.
Yeah, and not only that, but they steamrolled through a defense that was set up by a sound barrier. I mean, they had a lot going into that one. Nonetheless, we do see Tavik already with a kill on Lynxer. That's a huge pick going into this. Zebasai going to be taken out by what, 7 though, and maybe they can turn this thing back around.
Should be able to. A Pulse Bomb comes through there from Manatan, gets a bit of damage Big chunk onto Toxican. He gets some good heals though from Vaneless, and now Dignitas will be able to push them back a little bit, but still 2:25 remaining. A single team fight will get that next checkpoint for Misfits, who are going to have a little bit of an ult advantage heading into this next engagement. Bromas, Evoke, and Baneless are the only ones even close, sitting about 70 to 80% here. If Tavik can come up big here with a tactical visor, this is an opportunity for Misfits to move on forward.
And Bromas going to be able to contest Tavik. Tavik should be able to win this one out, and does indeed win that duel, as Bromas just flicked that Helix Rocket a little bit too soon, I would say. Tavik actually going to be going back up on the high ground here, has Tactical Visor at the ready and might use it, but they need to kind of deal with this mech a little bit first if they want to get the most value out of it. And we're seeing some aggression already coming out as well from What7, who's trying to just rush in at him and actually overextends a little bit. Toxican is going to be now out of position due to that kill on What7, and he should be taken out as well. Sound Barrier coming out now from Evoke, and it seems as though they might be able to come into this one, as Bromas going to be able to find 3 kills along with Toxican.
I didn't see that happening. Honestly, that was a 5-on-6 situation. I thought since that we saw What7 get taken down, it was a perfect opportunity for Tavik to move in as soon as they get D.Va out of the mech, but they never got D.Va out of the mech. They just went ahead and tossed the tactical visor out there, and then put Nano Boost onto Bromas, who picks up 3 kills from that one. Big plays coming out there from the 76 here. Now 105 remaining. A lot of ults to work with, thankfully, on the side of Misfits, who can go with the Nano Blade or if they can go with the Tactical Visor. What are they going to use here? There's Linkster with the first pick, though, onto Zebasai. Sound Barrier, they're already committed. They might as well go for it. There's a Dragon Blade from Nevix. He's going to look for the Winston. He finds 1 pick. There's another Pulse Bomb from Manitin. Doesn't find a whole lot. Self-Destruct is out as well. Tavik went ahead and popped the Tactical Visor here. Misfits should be able to clean this one up, grab the next checkpoint, and get themselves another 90 seconds on the board.
And we're seeing the rest of Dignitas just coming off of that short spawn, as they all died pretty quickly, I would say. I think Evoke actually in a very bad position here, as he's all the way back at that short spawn with no help at the moment, but we do see the tanks coming over, and they do kind of just get him out of there. Toxican now going to be a little bit overextended at the moment, but might be able to get himself out. Oh, what a nice play by Reinforce, just to knock him back and keep him in the fray at the moment, but they still don't find that kill. In fact, Linkster actually finds one onto the Misfits, and we do see them battling now 4v6 at their spawn near the payload now. Reinforced kind of just going forward and trying to give them a little bit of spacing to work with. What7 should die off though here.
Gormas with the Tactical Visor and Nano Boost to help him out as well. He picks up 1, but he has a lot of people on him looking for another. No, it's going to expire. Gets him with the Helix Rocket onto Tavik there, as the Tactical Visor did expire. Now Nevix is under a lot of pressure, trying to hide around the terrain here. He eventually will be taken out, though. Manitin able to come through and save his teammate. Now, for the first time in about 30+ seconds, Misfits finally have an opportunity to move the payload forward, though they do not have too much to work with. We'll have to see what they want to get. And Linkster with the Pulse Bomb. I'm looking for something big from him here, as he's looking to drop down on the payload potentially.
Reinforce sliding back around with Manitin, just putting some work into Vaneless, who's forced to go all the way back to that spawn and pulling him out. I mean, still, Bromas able to find a pick on the Manitin, who did, like I said, go in with Reinforce, and he's getting dangerously low here, but they are kind of trading on this point, and that's going to be big for them. But nonetheless, obviously, we have to remember that the defensive side has a huge advantage as the payload gets even closer to their spawn now. Primal Rage ready to go for Reinforce, who's just, again, putting in so much damage, finding so much spacing for Zebasai to work with, as well as Tavik. And they're looking to go ahead and combine for those ults. The Nano Visor more than likely to come out after we see the Sound Barrier dying off.
No, it is actually at the exact same time. Unfortunately, though, on the side of Dignitas here, it only really hit Evoke in the meantime, so there's 2 pickups onto What7 and Bromas. We're going to hit overtime now. Self-destruct is out. Does it find anything here? Not going to be the case here. There's a Nano Boost coming out from Vaneless, as he's actually going to be taking out Manitin as well. Gets a Pulse Bomb kill on the Vaneless. Both supports are now down on the side of Dignitas. There's the D.Va taken out of the mech, fully taken down here. Bromas trying for something with the Tag Visor. Doesn't get anything. It's just him and the Reinhardt. Vaneless coming off a respawn. They just need to take care of this Reinhardt. He's going to be taken down. They are going to be able to finish out the map in overtime.
What was huge there, actually, was Vaneless utilizing that that Nano Boost and actually got it out of the pilot D.Va, who immediately got assassinated there by Tavik, as well as the rest of the Misfits. But, I mean, having a big ult like that, especially one that gives you tremendous sustain on a point when you really need it, certainly not going to help them very much at all. As, of course, you definitely wanted that on someone like What7 or something like that, so that you could contest that for a longer duration and maybe get back to the point long enough to stagger in and, you know, maybe take a couple kills and then win the point over and make it so that you can actually really have a good shot at winning this. Nonetheless, though, Misfits won this in overtime, so they're really going to have a strong defense here to be able to hold on, because, of course, if we do see this going to a tiebreaker, just to kind of refresh everyone's memory from the past couple of days, if this does go to tie, that we will move into that third map, and then if it does actually go in favor of Dignitas on the third map, then we do go into a tiebreaker, I believe, on the Oasis, but nonetheless, we will go to the third map regardless. However, of course, certainly both teams could pull out a victory here still on this map, given what Dignitas can actually accomplish here on the attacking side. Toxikin right now on the Pharah. I kind of imagine he'll stay on this. I think for the most part, I think for the most part they're going to go for a dive here. Evoke going to be swapping. Lynx are more than likely going to be swapping. But we saw this yesterday from them going with the sniper composition. They just look for some initial picks on what they imagine to be an aggressive defensive hold here, at least initially, on some guys trying to get some early ult charge. And then they just make a quick swap over to what they really want to go for. And that's pretty much what they do consistently here on this map. And I imagine that's going to be the case as well here.
Well, this is, as I mentioned here, this is the question mark for me on the defensive side for Misfits and what's going to happen with them. Thankfully for them, they did manage to finish out the map, but it's in overtime, so they can't really afford to get steamrolled. They need to be able to set a similar pace on the defensive end as what we saw from Dignitas, who held them off for the first 2 minutes before getting this first checkpoint here. So let's see what they're able to get done with Toxikin on that Pharah, and Tvik, of course, with Zebasai trying to shut him down from afar.
We do see them just jumping onto the point, and they already got a nice biotic there onto the Roadhog, finding that kill, but Lynxer was taken out immediately, and we're seeing Bromas just trying to battle back into this one a little bit, reinforce, looking to try to control that, and it does seem as though Misfit's going to be able to hold on to this one.
Still Evoke running around on the point, not really sure what he's hoping to accomplish by himself there. He was getting healed from afar there by Baneless, but just wasting even more time, I'd have to say, as he now gets back up. Not a whole lot of time wasted, but, you know, just a little bit. Every second going to be accounting here, given that Misfits did finish the map. But look at Tvik already here. He's at 80% on his ultimate. That is huge. Let's see what Bromas can find here with this pulse bomb as he looks to move in.
We will see Tvik just holding back here already. What7 jumping in right now, and look at this, Tvik pretty close to having that ult, but almost shutting down Toxikin as well.
Finding the kill into Nevix in the end. Tvik does have Tactivisor. He picks up 2 kills here. He's way in the back. He might be forced to pop this one. Just him, reinforced Manitin remaining here. I don't even know if they need it. There's a nano boost coming out. Who did that actually hit here? Because I did see that was that's a Lucio. There's a Boostio on the field here. Unfortunately, not the target, but Broma is picking up 3 kills in the end to secure this point. I'm really surprised Tvik didn't pop that Tactivisor.
Well, I mean, he was getting chased down by Bromas, and he would have really had to do a lot to contend with the aggression coming out from this guy on Tracer. Basically just chased him up the stairs when Tvik was trying to get into a better position with some high ground. If Tvik had made it up there, certainly we would have seen Misfits holding on to that one. And, I mean, a main reason why would have been the fact that he just would have had that great positioning for that ultimate. Even without that nano boost, should have been able to find those kills. But Bromas with a very, very pivotal pick, I think, in that fight.
Still a lot of ults to work with here from both ends of the spectrum. Tvik is under a lot of heat. There's a Graviton Surge coming out there from Manitin. Dragonblade as well. Lynxer picks up 1 kill to get things started onto Zebasai. There's a second. Azave going to be taken down. Both supports now out of this fight. Manitin is melting guys, though, in the back line. He's super low. He's going to find a pick there before Bromas again. This Tracer is going untouched in these fights. Misfits need a way to pretty much deal with him.
Yeah, definitely. I think Dignitas' attack is certainly, I mean, very assisted by Dignitas' capabilities on the Tracer. I mean, certainly looking incredibly strong right now. Especially, I think a big thing here for them is that it looks good against one of the top teams in the world right now in Misfits. And we do see, actually, Tvik unleashing that nano visor, and he's just going ham with it, too, and finding 3 kills himself. And it seems as though Misfits might be able to hold here, but still, I mean, Bromas not checked at all. He's just still finding these kills, and it looks like this time he's going to be backed off as he's basically alone here. Lynxer is going to die off as well to Manitin. And now Bromas, who I don't think has even died yet on this attacking side, is forced back to the spawn.
I don't think he has. Maybe the very first engagement he may have, but ultimately since then there's been nothing to really contest with this Tracer play. They're Misfits either need to change something up or they have to focus heavily onto dealing with this guy. I'm going to look here to see what Nevix can get done. Pulse bomb's at the ready. There's a barrage from up top. Toxican finds an immediate kill. There's a pulse bomb 6. Nevix gets the kill on the Baneless as Misfits finally are showing some lives on the defensive, signs of life on the defensive side here. As Nevix coming up clutch with 3 big picks, but with still 2:35 remaining, that's a decent amount of time for Dignitas to get something done.
And I think they should be able to do pretty well here, but still, I mean, they're going to have to deal with Nano Blade right now, and that's definitely going to hurt them for sure. I don't know about Misfits' chances actually on this next defense. Unless they can find a really nice pick to start things off, they're going to be in some danger here as Linkster and Vaneless going to come together. Nano Blade comes out, and a nice sleep, but woken up by Tavik.
A shatter came out there from Reinforce, actually only hit 1, followed up with a charge kill, but it doesn't matter. It's basically a 3-on-2 with this. It's a 2-on-2. Self-destruct is forced out from Manitin. Doesn't find anything. Bromas gets the kill there, and it's going to be basically Bromas against the world on the payload. But thankfully for the defensive side, Nevix comes through with the quick spawn. He finds that kill onto the Little Pest Tracer, and that's basically going to force a full regroup now from Dignitas thanks to that extremely late kill. But no, Wat7 is actually going to dive into the backline. He's looking for Tavik, but Reinforce is up here to try to help him out.
Really great communication from Misfits as well. I mean, not only did you see Reinforce coming over, but Tavik didn't have to give up his high ground, just went to that corner, was able to get the heals from Zebasai, and now we are going to be seeing them more than likely get that communication, a little bit of a showing off as well, with Tactical Visor going to be linking up with the Nano Boost, I have to imagine. Some aggression coming out, though. Try to take him off that high ground, and they do manage it this time, but Tactical Visor nevertheless gonna come out. Bromas finds that kill, though.
That is clutch. It's a 1-for-1 right there, but on the other end, Nevix now is not being dealt with. Wat7 finds a couple kills with the Primal Rage, making a third one onto Zave as well. Pulse Bomb is out there. It doesn't find a whole lot of damage, unfortunately, here. Wat7 is able to find the pick onto Manitin in that in his suit, but he's still alive. A couple of them are going to be around to actually save the day, both Reinforce and Manitin here. Now 40 seconds remain. This is going to come down to one final push coming out from Dignitas.
And Reinforce did swap over to that Winston earlier. Obviously, we saw him kind of helping out Tavik a little bit, but he was on the Reinhardt for quite a while. And now I think it's definitely helped him that he's on this particular character, as he's able to kind of contest Linkster a little bit, help out on the high ground, and actually deal with Vaneless a little bit. Toxic and gonna get eliminated.
Oh my goodness, he popped the Tactical Visor too. That is game-changing here that they're able to find that kill. Linkster now with the Dragon Blade trying to save the day here for Dignitas. This is their final chance here. He picks up one onto Vic before having to sheath that. He is still looking to finish off Nevix, who is still running around here. Wat7, though, with 2 crucial picks. Thankfully for Misfits, they have a time to get a full regroup before that checkpoint is captured. Dignitas as well will get a few of them back in here, and this will still come down to one final fight. Look at the ultimate starting to come out here. Zave ready to go with that sound barrier.
What is an actual monster on this Winston? I mean, we've seen him able to contend with some of the best here so far in this group series and really performing quite well. He's already going to jump right in at Zebasai. Zebasai trying to hold on for dear life. Actually does get picked off, but that's actually Wat7 in a bad position, but does pop the Primal Rage and actually gets back up onto the point. Really getting contested now as he's looking for the kill on the Tracer.
Yeah, they're still trying for it here, because I mean, self-destruct comes out there. Manitin doesn't find anything here. Tavik is trying to get back in here. He has attack visor. He pops it. No nano boost to help him out. He is under so much pressure here by Wat7, who's taking down Linkster as well. Coming back with the Sombra. There's the sound barrier from Evoke here. Looking like Dignitas should be able to get this second checkpoint in the bag. Still, the spawn is so close for the defensive side. Such a long walk for Dignitas, who need to find these kills. Finally, Bromas comes through with the kill onto Zebasai here. Has a pulse bomb if they need it, but I don't think they are going to. Still, pulse bomb comes out from Bromas trying to find the kill onto the Vic. They are somehow still contesting this one. I think that Dignitas have the second checkpoint in the bag, get themselves the extra 90 seconds here to try to complete the map.
90 seconds isn't a lot of time though, and we did see Zebasai more than likely taken out here. Does finally get killed off. So he's going to be waiting for that spawn. But, I mean, that's, like I said, not a lot of time here. Linkster was on the Sombra, so he's going to be able to get that EMP off in this next one, more than likely, unless he gets dealt with before that. But Tavik doesn't see him when he does teleport over. But still, I mean, having the EMP is going to be big. They just don't have a lot, though. I mean, they really want Toxican's ult, but he doesn't have it. I mean, certainly, I don't think he'll have it, actually, for the rest of the game, unless he really finds a lot of damage.
Well, there's so much to work with here. There's EMP coming out from Linkser. They already lost Veinless, though, as the fight begins. Evoke going to be taken down. They return fire with 3 of their own here. A pretty even fight for both sides, though. There's a Pulse Bomb coming out. Rather than from Bromas, he doesn't really find a whole lot. There's the one from Nevix. Nevix finds the pick on the Linkser finally here, and they stall him out for an entire minute around that first corner, Curix. Now we're down to 25 seconds, and still Misfits retaining a few ultimates here. Linkser makes a change over to the Widowmaker.
Interesting that he decided to go with that particular pick for the offense, but Nevix now just getting right up in his face and trying to take him down. He's actually doing a great job of that. Broma's going to be able to find that opening kill on Zebasai as Tvik actually going ahead with the Nano Visor.
For something big. He's actually taken down the What 7, found the pick onto him. Reinforce and Manitin return with a couple of their own. Reinforce is untouched here on the payload. We're in overtime. He has a Primal Rage if he needs it. I think they have it. He's popping the Primal Rage now. They need to deal with this Tracer. They need to deal with Broma's big time, and the Widowmaker, who should be taken down, gets help with the projected barrier, and somehow Reinforce and company haven't finished this fight. Pulse Bomb is out. Bromas picks up the kill onto Zebasai now. Still very back and forth. It's going to be Reinforced under a lot of heat right here. And still Dignitas funneling their way back onto the point single-handedly thanks to Bromas.
Nonetheless, we do see Linkser in the back line there trying to lay down some covering fire as well and trying to take some picks himself, but not really in a great position, struggling to get up on that box. But a nice pick there from Nevix as Linkser gets the last headshot there onto Zebasai, shutting that down. And now both teams will be allotted 1 minute to try to jump onto that first point and try to take this win as both teams end it in overtime.
What did I just witness? They had 90 seconds to get that from the second checkpoint to the final one here. 30 seconds to get down the final stretch. And Reinforced was 100% HP going up against a Tracer and Widowmaker, and pops Primal Rage. I don't even think he needed to do that. I think he was trying to knock him off the payload. I think that might have been a mistake there. And unfortunately allowed for them to come back to it, thanks to a Zarya pickup as well. Helping out Widowmaker, helping out Linkser keep himself alive, and now 1 minute allotted to both squads here to see if they are able to take that first checkpoint.
I think ideally, if you were going to go for a defense there, I mean, you really wanted to get that Graviton Surge up as soon as possible. I mean, certainly both teams really, I mean, the Zaryas there switching really late into that one. You weren't going to really find that when you wanted it the most, but nonetheless, if you could have gotten Reinforced to kind of sync up with that a little bit, push everybody off the point initially, force them away for just a moment, and then actually get a Graviton Surge off the point, and just hold them there long enough to clean up whoever's on the point, or perhaps even clean up the Graviton Surge, which would be, of course, the ideal situation, then certainly they would have been able to mount a defense, but obviously things just didn't happen that way, and now they're going to be in a situation in overtime here where they really, you know, I mean, don't have a lot of time here, and certainly things can get very volatile here for either side if these opening picks go the side of the attack.
Let's see what they're able to get done here with the Pharah. There's a nice pick onto Manitin to get things underway for Linkser. There's a second pick up in the skies as they follow through with the Diva as well from Toxican. And just like that, Dignitas shut down this first push from Misfits, who might have an opportunity to move in. Up one person, Nevix though coming off a respawn though, 25 seconds remaining.
We'll see this as the final attempt. I mean, each team really with only 2 fights in them, given the time bank allotted. And now we see Misfits going up to that high ground, just jumping up to Vic again on this Pharah, and already a pick onto Nevix as it looks like Dignitas should be able to hold this one out. Linkser coming alive right now.
Oh my goodness, both picks coming out from him to get things started in both engagements here. Tvik follows through. Bromas though with another pick for his own. Gets the tank here. Tvik under a lot of heat. He's going to be taken down by the Soldier 76. No one remains other than Manitin on the Tracer, who will be taken down by the Helix. Nevix is in the area, so is Zebasai. They don't last too long, and Dignitas are at least going to be forcing this to a game number 3 here.
They have an opportunity now. I mean, it's either going to be moving into a game 3 with a tie, obviously, or with them with the map wins.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's gonna come down to what happens here on their attack. They have the extra minute now to go ahead with an attack of their own, and obviously, if they win this one, we're going to go into game 3. But if they lose it, we're doing just the same, and then perhaps we'll see a tiebreaker unless Misfits can kind of rally in that map 3 and be able to win that one out and then take it 2-1. Or 2-0-1, depending on what happens, obviously. But we'll have to see as on the side of the attack, it looks like we're seeing the same exact setup as we typically see, although Evoke not actually on the Hanzo at the moment. They didn't really get anything off of it the last time, as we don't really see Misfits holding very aggressively. Nonetheless, we do see a triple take strat to Vic, the lone DPS here on the Soldier. The attacking side actually going to be using Toxicant on the Hanzo here. And I'm curious to see if he's going to be going over to the Pharah, and that is going to be the case. And Broma's going to be taking the Hanzo then. I think they're just switching around who's going to be taking it. But he'll more than likely go over to the Tracer. And Linkster and Broma's probably not going to find anything initially. I mean, you can pretty much guarantee that at this point.
Not much time, only 1 minute here for Dignitas to make a statement to see if they do tie up the series or if it will just be a 1-0 lead for the side of Misfits, and then a tie, of course, on the board for them. Let's see what that's going to happen with it as they go with a pretty similar composition to what we actually saw from Misfits on their offensive push. On the other end of things, it's going to be pretty much the same here for both squads. So still struggling to push in. Toxicant taking a little bit of damage. He's going to be forced to back off of this one. I'm looking for them to make their move. Now they're going to jump into this one. Manitin under a lot of heat, though. There's a pick from Reinforce. Gets what, 7. Linkster returns with one of his own. 2 kills now on the board here for Dignitas. Potentially a third one. It's a 3 for 2 here. Dignitas have a real shot now to be able to close this map out.
Toxicant putting some pressure down onto Tavik, who was discorded and just kind of stuck in the back. Going to be able to heal himself, but 2 body shots, they're coming out, and Toxicant able to find that kill. It seems as though Dignitas might actually rally and make this play here on their attacking side and close this out 4-3. A nice body shot coming out there from Toxicant as well, and that's 4-3, and it's tied up here. Dignitas 1-1.
Wow, very, very shocking given the dominance portrayed from Misfits on Nepal, finding that 3-1 victory, and then even on the offensive side of things and even the defensive end of things, Dignitas were on the verge multiple times in this through the streets phase, the second phase of the map, you know, from losing the map and coming through in overtime both times to get the second and third checkpoint, giving them an opportunity to make another push here in Hollywood, secure the map, and head to in game number 3. That map pick, of course, will be coming out for the side of Misfits. Are you expecting to see Numbani or potentially Hanamura or Volskaya?
If I was given this decision, I would probably go on something like Volskaya, because you know it's clearly going to be something that's weak for Dignitas, but I wouldn't be surprised by any of these maps coming out. I mean, even Hanamura wouldn't be a surprise, given the fact that really I think Hollywood was the only map that I think Dignitas had a decent shot on, and Misfits should be able to pretty handedly take any of the others. Obviously, given Misfits' history over in Korea, you know, they had a lot of really good scrim practice as well on some of these 2 CP maps, given the fact that they were in the Apex map pools as well, whereas EU has really just kind of been scrimming with these behind the scenes. So I think Misfits has a pretty clear advantage, I think, going into this, and it seems right now, I think Dignitas just needs a second, but Misfits is going to be given the option for maps. But that's the first time now that we've seen Misfits actually drop a map so far in this group stage. Now the question is Dignitas going to be able to pull off something insane? Something that we actually saw in Group A with E United looking like more than likely the strongest team, and then Ninjas of Pajamas, who had a rocky start initially, able to shut them down a little bit. I mean, that would be kind of a weird parallel to draw between the 2 groups if it actually does happen. But again, I think my money here is on Misfits. I think they should have been able to get a 2-0, but now, I mean, given the fact that they already lost a map, it's more than likely going to be a 2-1 here, and it is going to be Hanamura with Misfits defending here to start things off.
I mean, heading into this was kind of, you know, the matchup we kind of said, okay, this is an opportunity for a team to take a map or potentially even a series off of Misfits. Dignitas probably would have been one of those top teams to be able to do so here in Group B. So seeing that map being taken off, you know, like you had mentioned, I expected a 2-0 as well from Misfits, but to see that map come through from Dignitas, very impressive. Heading to Hanamura for the final map of the series. It will be interesting to see what they're able to do here on the defensive side to get things started, as we do wait for Dignitas. They just need a moment to get things underway. But now that we know the map, we know the sides here, are you still sticking with Misfits to be able to come through with a close victory, or are you expecting this one to be a pretty big lopsided one for them?
Well, I mean, obviously anything can happen on 2CP. I think this is one of the styles of maps that, I mean, really anything goes at this stage. But given what we saw with Misfits over Singularity, they were able to take a 2-0. They had a really nice defensive hold on that first point on the first day of Group B. I think they're pretty strong on Hanamura. I think Dignitas, I mean, who have also won on this particular map, and I think it was Linkster going over to the Linkster going over to the Widowmaker initially that gave them those first 2 ticks yesterday in their matchup, I believe, against ATAX. That really kind of set them up, but I'm not sure what he's going to be able to accomplish. We saw him do it again against Misfits here in this last map on Hollywood on their attack. Maybe he tries to pull that out as well on the attacking side. We're going to be seeing, I mean, pretty soon here. But of course, they have to get that first point. And so far, Misfits, with one opportunity to do so, have not let that one go. And I think Dignitas is certainly a very strong team. So I think Dignitas should at least be able to get the first point. But I'm not sure if they'll get the second, given Misfits' ability to hold on that second point. I think they should be able to close this one out. Misfits more than likely going to be up, I would say a 2-1 or something like a 4-3 or something to have happen. If we do see Dignitas take that second point, I think they'll be able to take the first point again if they have enough time, obviously. We'll have to see.
Well, it looks like both teams are good to get started here. Of course, this is just the first series of the day, guys. Following this one, we will have Singularity Ninjas take on X Alternate Attacks. And then following that, the final series of the day will be Hammers Esports up against Movistar Riders. So still a lot of Overwatch action here coming today. And then later tonight, Yerks, we have North America as well. So a lot of Overwatch here for the PIT Championship. But we're good to go here on Hanamura and see what both of these squads want to take up on the composition side of things to get things started. Like we had mentioned, it will be Misfits on the defense, putting Dignitas on offense here. And we'll see if they want to pick up that Widowmaker pick. Wouldn't be terribly surprising, to say the least, but at least hovering over some picks on the defensive side of things. Maybe going to be seeing Reinforce on the Winston. We'll see if he wants to stick with that.
I imagine this is going to be what they want to do for the defensive side. If I'm not mistaken, this is exactly what they ran the first time around when we saw them up against, what was it? I think Movistar Riders that they pulled this out on. Or no, it was actually Singularity that they played on this map here. And I think this is exactly what they pulled out, actually. So going with this very aggressive defense where we see them diving forward, and this isn't anything really new. I think they really like it on this particular map because Reinforce is able to just do basically whatever he wants, and having a guy like Reinforce with that much control in how these team fights actually are going to progress is certainly a huge advantage for Misfits. And of course, given the spacing that he's able to give to Vic, that's going to be huge as well. And then really it's just kind of Nevix and Meniton's job to just basically kind of sweep things up a little bit. Vic just covering fire, just putting down the pressure from very much afar, although he might get involved on the point pretty early on if things start diving over to that direction, as we do see a dive comp coming out once again here from Dignitas as well. Toxican actually on a Pharah.
Pharah pick seems to be in order for quite a few teams on the offensive side here throughout multiple maps today. We'll see what Vic is able to get done against him as they do spot that one out, playing a little reserved on the back end of things. Waiting to see what sort of, how aggressive Dignitas wants to get started and where they're actually going to dive into here as we're looking for Watt 7. He's going to actually dive straight into the back. There's the first pick onto the Vic. That's an important one thanks to Toxican. 3 kills in the back right away. Dignitas not letting off the pressure here and making sure that they have a terrific start to Hanamura to get things underway here in map number 3.
They should be able to get this first point. I mean, that's what I imagine would happen initially. I didn't think it would go that quickly, but I thought, eventually this dive comp would work out. Dignitas should be able to get that first point. But the thing about Misfits is that their ability to re-engage after being down, especially with the spawn advantage, they are really good about that, especially on this particular map. They just know how to go in and stall and make the most of things. So I think they should be able to mount a pretty solid defense here on this second point, but we'll have to see if we can, if Dignitas is going to be able to press an advantage here early on, given the fact that they definitely took a lot in that first fight.
Plenty of time to work with from Dignitas. This is the scariest push we're going to be seeing here. Toxican makes a change over to 76, so going to lose a little bit of ult charge. They don't have anything up yet, but there's the first pick for Zebasai on the defensive end, which is a big pickup. There's the second one, Baneless, who had the nano boost at the ready. He's going to be taken down. And Misfits, they swiftly just shut that one down here. It's no worries whatsoever. No one was even in danger, and now they've got a pretty much even playing field in terms of ult charge.
That's big to kind of even things out a bit, as of course we are more than likely going to see, you know, Linkser probably with a Nano Blade to try to take out everything up here on that top left platform where Zebasai and Reinforce are currently standing. And once he can kind of deal with that, if he can deal with that, then they'll be able to really just jump in on the point and have a lot of control given Reinforce's death. And then, of course, Zebasai, the main healer, being taken out as well. And that is going to come out. He's jumping straight into that one and already jumping in towards Devik. And he's going to get dealt with more than likely.
Zave had actually been handed the nano boost there from Zebasai to another boostio, but it doesn't matter. Thankfully, Devik was able to clean that one up onto Linkser, and he wasn't too much of a threat here. They do hold on to 3 ults for the offense, which is going to be big moving into this next engagement. But Zave will have Sound Barrier at the ready, so might be able to combat quite a bit of that. And Misfits holding off for the next, the last couple of minutes here. Still 5-10 to work with, which is such an, extraordinary amount of time here for Dignitas. I would be shocked if they weren't able to come up with this point.
It's going to be hard for that Pulse Bomb to really have a lot of value. Devik actually jumping back towards the back end of the point and actually going all the way back around here, as we do see Zebasai putting out some heals. Evoke already going to find the kill on the opponent, Lucio. Zave, as Linkser looking for some picks, and certainly Reinforce just holding on. Oh, look at this. He got this soldier just bullying him. Man. What is that?
Yeah, he can't do anything about it, unfortunately. That's exactly what he needed to do with that Primal Rage. Ensure that Toxican wasn't a threat with the Tactical Visor. He didn't, I'm not even sure if he had it at the time, but of course didn't want to drop that into a Primal Rage to Winston. Still nearing that first tick. I don't think Dignitas will be able to get it. Devik finding 2 picks down to Linkser and Watt 7. They'll be able to shut down this push now. With just over 4 minutes remaining, another minute being taken off the clock here, and still able to hold on to that sound barrier from Zave, who is, I think he's had that for now a couple of team fights. There's been no opportunity for him to drop it. I think he'll use it in the next team fight when Toxican has that tactical visor out, and potentially even Linkser now with the Dragon.
I don't think anything's more frustrating than getting cyber bullied by a Primal Rage. But nonetheless, moving into this next fight here, defense with a lot of options, as Zave still has that sound barrier evoke, able to get a lot of charge off of that last fight there and putting them in a position where they might be able to pull out another one here. Nonetheless, 3:43 remaining on this time bank, and certainly things are kind of dwindling down a little bit, as half the time that they had allotted is already gone. They have no ticks to show for it.
Looking for something from Toxican here. And Linkser, they almost have the Nano Boost from Baneless. Let's see what's going to happen with it. There's a Dragon Blade coming out from Nevix. He's going to... No, Nano Boost actually went out to Devik there. He picks up 2 kills. They both are going to light up the feed here. 3 apiece from both the 76 and the Genji, who had the Nano Blade... Or excuse me, it was the Nano Boost onto the Tactical Visor. And then, of course, the just plain Dragon Blade from Nevix cleans that one up. And Zave again still holding on to Sound Barrier because Linkser and Toxican didn't have an opportunity to use their ultimates.
Look for Misfits to get kind of aggressive here. I mean, they don't have any ult options here, so what they really want to do is they want to try to gather up as much charge as they can possibly get on some little poking damage that they can find. And now, on top of that, once we see the engage actually come out, Misfits will more than likely go back, kind of retreat to their Lucio Zave there to try to get the most out of that sound barrier, try to stay alive for as long as possible. Reinforce more than likely looking to Primal Rage midway through this fight, as he does get all the way up in Soldier's face here.
Wow, the Nano Blade from Linkser, nothing was done because of the sound barrier from Zave. As I had mentioned, Nevix going to be the first to go down. It's a 2-for-1 deal, though. Dignitas is going to actually lose their Lucio here, so very back and forth. Of course, the defense having such a big advantage here. The trades clearly favoring Misfits on the defensive side, and they are going to be able to hold off this push. Still no ticks gained there from both a Nano Blade and Attack Visor. Toxican now making the change over to Diva.
Misfits is one of the strongest teams in this grouping for that exact reason. We saw them just execute so well with what they had. I mean, 2 ultimates used to be able to close that one out against an onslaught of options there coming out from Dignitas. And again, just the ability to execute that strategy of just pulling back, getting back to Zave, getting the sound barrier out, reinforce, holding on to a stalling ult as well, and just zoning out guys like Toxican, who was on the Soldier. Really, really clutch play from those guys.
Vic looking for some poke damage from afar here. There's the first pick from Bromas. Picks up the kill on the Zebasai. Of course, he made the change over to McCree. Now to Vic, ready to go with the attack visor. I don't even think he needs it thanks to Manitin just shoving his defense matrix up in their face. Now Toxican is dangerously close to falling out of the mech. He's actually out of the mech up top, which means there's really no need for them to pop any ultimates on the defensive side. So they save basically everything, if I'm not mistaken. Curix, and now 1 minute remains. They're going to be looking for a fight with potentially 5 ultimates to work with from the defense.
So Misfits, like I said in the beginning, I mean, their ability to hold out on the second point is almost second to none. Very, very stellar performances on defense on this particular point. But that first point, basically easy pickings for Dignitas. So like I said before, if Dignitas is able to take the first point, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to take the second. If they do, they should be able to get the third point. But, I mean, with 40 seconds remaining and all these options for Misfits, they really don't look like they have a shot to make it to that third.
Vic is such a beast on the Soldier 76, just finding the easy kill onto Watt 7 to get the thing started, and then of course just basically laying it into Linkser, who couldn't get anything done. It's going to come down to one final push. They don't have a single tick on the board. They've got 5 ultimates to work with compared to Linkser and Bromas. Let's see what they can get done with this one. Linkser is going to have to come up big for these guys. He's going to have a nano boost in a few seconds from Baneless, but not a lot of time to get onto that point here. He's got to be very wary of what Vic's going to get done.
And the nano boost coming out onto the tack visor, and that's going to be contesting Linkser with the blade, and he actually finds that kill. They're backing up the supports here as Vaneless falls out. Broma's trying to look for some kills, but is going to be killed off himself. And now What7 on the point here, looking to make the Primal Rage count, and I'm not sure if it's going to actually outlast here.
They'll have Evoke around as well, but he's going to be taken down by Tavik. The Primal Rage Winston holding on as long as he can. Not going to be too much longer, though. Sombra is here. Don't think he gets on to the point in time. No, Translocator not going to be quick enough, and Misfits making the point B hold on Hanamura, only giving up 1 point despite over 6 minutes to work with from the side of Dignitas.
Yeah, Misfits just very, very solid defense there on that second objective. Looks like we need a pause, I think, but this has happened a couple of times, I think, in this. Okay, we are going to get the pause. It has happened a couple of times in the. I think he did, but this has happened a couple of times. You know, going between switching sides, and sometimes we pause, sometimes we don't, just given the fact that teams have a lot of time to work with. But nonetheless. He is going to be dropping. I think it was Bromas, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Bromas did crash there. So once he comes back, we will go ahead and start this one back up. And I think we're going to be ready pretty soon here. But nonetheless, again, a really stellar hold there from Misfits to be able to hold that one out. Now they only need both points. And I mean, certainly that seems like a daunting task to anyone going into this matchup. But Misfits, I think, should be ready to go for this one. I think that they're in a position where they should be able to get this. I mean, first point maybe won't look as ridiculous as what we saw Dignitas being able to accomplish, but I think once they get control of that first point, maybe after, they might be able to pull it off in one fight, but it might take 2 or 3. Once they're able to get it, they should be able to take the second point pretty handedly. I mean, it might take two, maybe 3 fights there as well, but we shouldn't see them holding for 6 minutes or something like that. Misfits should be able to come together and find that second objective in this particular matchup. I think it would be a huge upset if Dignitas actually was able to make that hold.
Well, Dignitas sitting at a 1-1 in the standings. Misfits at 2-0. Should Misfits come up here with a victory, that put them at a solid 3-0, really separating themselves from the pack, of course. After today, there at least will be a 1 or 2 teams that are going to be sitting at 2-1, but a tremendous start indeed if they do manage to do that. Dignitas not wanting to drop to 1-2. They want to put themselves at that 2-1, tie themselves up with Misfits if possible here. As we do see the composition come out on the side of Dignitas, going to be putting Toxican back on the Diva, Bromas with the defensive Tracer as well.
Roma set up pretty aggressively here on the Tracer, but he does have those blinks, so should be able to get away if he catches himself in a bad position. I imagine he's just going to get some early ult charge, grab the health back, and then run away, but maybe he's actually just not even going to do that. Just kind of walking around. But nonetheless, on the attacking side, Zebasai back on the Zenyatta at the moment. 2-2-2 style dive coming out from the attacking side of Misfits, and Tvik actually not noticing Bromus at all, as we are going to be seeing Bromus just, again, just sneakily making his way behind this team.
Let's see what he can actually get done with it, because the rest of the squad on the side of Misfits just jumped straight into the back here and kind of putting themselves at an interesting position. Looking to get on top of Vainless, puts the Winston to sleep. He's actually woken back up. Unfortunately, they'll reinforce under a lot of heat. 3 kills in the bag to get things started here for Dignitas. So definitely, like you said, not going to be as quick, but nonetheless, setting, you know, they've got plenty of time to work with here.
Just over 3 minutes now, 3:18 remaining in the time bank, and I still think that they should be able to gather their composure here and just rush onto the point and make the play here. Zebasai was just contested a little bit too much there by Bromus to really have any effectiveness. Certainly, once Transcendence comes out, they are going to be able to perform a lot better, I think, going into these plays or into these points. But they still have to deal with guys like Linkser, who have been known to really kind of shut these attacks down against the dives. And you know, that's a big play against the dive, to be able to land those hooks consistently. We're seeing 3 guys here from Misfits on the point, Reinforce being one of them, almost taken out there as Tvik actually takes out Bromus. That's a huge pick.
He's looking for Vainless as well, who's able to get to safety. Found him with a bio grenade early on. There's a nut. Oh my goodness, a Dragon Blade already from Nevix. Picks up 2 kills immediately. Zebasai as well with a couple onto the tanks here. And despite, like you had mentioned, exactly what you said here, it's not going to be as quick as of a capture as what we saw there from Dignitas, but Misfits going to be able to get this one in about 135-ish, maybe about 140, as it looks like we do need the pause. Bromus crashing out there. Hopefully he doesn't fully crash because he has pulse bomb ready.
Uh-oh. Bromus not replying in voice either. And I'm not sure what's going on with Hanamura, but it seems like Bromus's computer is just unable to deal with it.
That's unfortunate. He had pulse bomb here,
yeah,
which isn't the worst one to lose.
Yeah, we've seen that actually happen quite often with Tracers actually getting DC'd out and then losing out on pulse bomb. But
I think the thing is the fact that the most dangerous push is about to come through here from Misfits. And they just used Dragon Blade to secure it. Bromus had Pulse Bomb, which could help him tremendously moving forward. They almost have, they almost have Transcendence on the offensive end. They've got the self-destruct. This could be rough for Dignitas. This very well could be their end. I don't know if I mean, Misfits are obviously going to push in here 100%. That Bromus is back here. So this is going to be interesting. I don't know. What are you thinking about this?
Well, the big thing here is that they might be able to take the advantage of Zebasai being able to use that Transcendence. They don't have an ult coming out from Nevix, but, you know, Self-Destruct might be able to clear the point enough for them to just establish control of that stage. And with What 7 on the Reinhardt, he's certainly looking to try to get a big Earthshatter here, and he's not going to have too much contesting him. It's really going to come down to Zebasai just dealing with that, but they get stunned out.
Oh! He doesn't even have an opportunity to use his Transcendence. Bromus, of course, made the change over to the 76 here, and Dignitas shutting that push down instantly here, as the next 5:45 will come to determine what happens in this series here.
Vic right now with the Pulse Bomb. They held on to everything, though, and Nevix getting closer to having that Dragon Blade is certainly going to help them trying to get control of the point. We did see What 7 switching over to the Winston here. Not going to be able to utilize that Earthshatter anymore as he did make that swap, but already we're seeing them trying to contest high ground a little bit. And the whole hog coming out as well as he dives off of the high ground.
Force as well, popping that Primal Rage here, looking to get away from Bromus. There's Tvik finding a first pick, though. Sound Barrier as well from Evoke. Maybe a little late, only it doesn't hit Linkster, unfortunately. Linkster is just melted down. Nevik comes through with a nice deflect Helix rocket kill on the Bromus, has another Dragon Blade at the ready. They're looking to secure it right now if they possibly can. Looking for something big. Linkster makes the change now over to a May. There's a Nano Boost coming out onto Watt 7. Dragon Blade out for Nevik. Sound Barrier as well, finds a kill on the Bromus. Still needs to find this May pick. May is under a lot of heat. Gonna be taking down 2 kills in the bag here for Nevix. This is Misfits' best opportunity now to seal this map.
And they have a lot of options now. It's Vic ready with the Pulse Bomb. Certainly going to be looking for the kill on Vaneless, backing him up into that corner. Does get the kill and also takes him out of the mech there. Helps at least, and Reinforce coming alive here as Lynx are going over to that Mei, looking to hold on, getting some heals there as Evoke actually falls, and it seems as though Misfits should be able to close this one out. Discord's coming out on the What7. That's going to secure it.
They have a self-destruct as well if they even need it right now. They don't even get back in time, and just like that, Misfits secure the second point here as they take the series 2-1. Putting themselves up at an overall 3-0 record, gonna knock Dignitas down to 1-2 in the standings.
And just as expected, it took 2 to 3 fights to get that first point. Same thing on the second one, just a lot of control on that second point. They know how to get on that point and really find control. And again, I mean, Zebasai with just so many options, so much space to work with. Those guys really know how to give him a lot to work with. Get him into a good position there. Nonetheless, Reinforce has made play after play after play for this squad, and you can see that here in the play of the game.
Now, I've got to ask you here, X. We almost made a change over to 76, and they still lost the first push. Misfits didn't get the first push. They didn't use any ultimates. Do you think that had much of an impact towards, the second push and what Misfits was able to do there by winning the map?
Well, I think with Misfits, the big thing was just what they had, not necessarily what they were up against, because no matter what, I think they would have come out ahead. We've already seen what they can do in a 2v5 situation or something like that in terms of ult economy. So obviously, with execution of ults and strategy and everything like that, Misfits is far and away ahead of Dignitas and pretty much every team, I would say, in the EU, at least Group B, but I think if you want to extend it even to Group A, I think they're kind of in a league of their own as well. I mean, maybe E United and Ninjas of Pajamas might be able to contest a little bit better, but still, I think Misfits is pretty far and away in a league of their own. However, I think the big thing there was that it was really going to come down to if Nevix was going to be able to find any value with his Dragon Blade, because that would have shut down pretty much anything that would have come out from the side of Dignitas there. So it wouldn't have, like I said, it wouldn't have really mattered. And then it really came down to just having the options of Soundbarrier themselves, and then Vaneless having, not Vaneless, Zebasai having pretty much the world to work with in terms of spacing. Really, nobody was able to contest him, so they had discords everywhere, and really, like I said, that was what kind of set things up, where Transcendence could have come out to shut everything down too, and no matter what they did on the defensive side, Misfits, once they have what they want, it's over. They're going to be able to get that second objective on Hanamura.
Okay, well, it is going to be Misfits taking the series 2-1 over Dignitas. Guys, we're going to head to a short break. And when we're back, we'll have Singularity Ninjas up against X Alternate Attacks for our second series of the day. Guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few minutes.